Hello everybody, welcome to my review of the Swatches of Chakra deck. If you don't know me, my name is John. I am a professional tarot card reader. I make videos sometimes here on YouTube and TikTok about readings and decks, witchcraft, spirituality, all that kind of stuff. So today I'm going to be reviewing a very nice, affordable little deck that I've had for a very long time, almost 3 years now, actually. So this is the Swatches of Chakra deck made by Crystal Banner. They have this company, Kaleidodope, which you can find out more about on their website, kaleidodope.com. They have some more decks. They also have things like pins and incense right now. Lots of cool stuff that I might invest in getting a couple more things from Kaleidodope myself. So the reason I got this deck is because for me, color is a very big part of my life and the way that I read, both in tarot and just within energy reading in general. I do a lot of chakra-based work and a lot of things with color therapy, color psychology, stuff like that. So when I was getting this deck, I was on the search for basically the closest thing I could find to just randomly generating a hex code. There's a good amount, well, not as much as I would like personally, but, a decent amount of color-based decks out there. But I wanted one that was just as simple as possible. I didn't want it to be a bunch of pictures with one color. I just wanted just the solid color, just like this. And in fact, when I got this deck, I almost cut off the bottom with the numbers and keywords so that I could just have the color itself. But I decided that I would give it a try and read it with the numbers and keywords and see if I liked it first. And I did, so I haven't actually cut the bottom off. So if you take a look, you see I put them back in order for this video. So it goes by chakra. There's 2 numbers on here. The first one is the number of this card within the deck. So this card's number 1, next card's number 2 and number 3. And then the second number is the chakra number. So this is the root chakra, the first chakra. So for anyone who is into numerology and incorporates that into their readings, you have that right there. So you could read this one as number 2, this one as 2 plus 1 is the number 3, 3 plus 1 is the number 4, and so on. So this is only 25 cards, so I'll show you all of them here. Every chakra has 3 or 4 different colors. Creativity, sexual energy, and each keyword refers to a different thing that this chakra is associated with. So for each chakra, you get a few different shades with just a keyword and some numbers. And this has held up really well for me. You might notice, I'm not sure if you can tell, the only kind of flaw I've had with this deck, you can see right there, is that, because I've had this for a very long time and I've used it a lot. Like, there was a point in time where I was using this every single day, multiple times a day, every single reading, because they're just so simple and effective. They're very easy to add on to the end of just about any reading, to just give it a bit of color or something to kind of wrap up the reading. So with some of these cards, the color gets nicked off like very easily by my nail. If I brush it kind of against something, a little bit of that color will chip off. But, you know, I've had this for 3 years and it's very well used, so I'm not too upset about that. It's a very cheap deck as well. Right now it's going for about $20, so for me, I don't mind this flaw with the color coming off because it's very easy to replace. You know, it doesn't distract me or anything, and if it ever got to the point where it did become a problem, I could just buy a new one pretty easily, and I wouldn't really mind that. So this is the one card in the deck that is not associated with any one chakra or color, is the Limitless card with this infinity symbol here. So in terms of how to read with this deck, there is kind of a guidebook, but not really. As you can see, there's no paper in here for a physical guidebook. What we have instead is a QR code. This QR code takes you to a little guidebook that for each chakra, it shows you the pictures of each card, and it just sort of talks about the chakra itself. So it gives a description of a very brief, like one-line description of what the chakra means, what it looks like when it's balanced or imbalanced, and it has associated crystals and affirmations. Nothing about the meaning of the card itself or the intentions of the deck or the best way to read with it. It is totally left open for you as a reader to decide what you want to do with it and how you want to read with it. And really, it's really just not necessary to have a guidebook for this deck that has, like, you know, for this card, this means this. I mean, I like the simplicity and the open-endedness of it. So I think it works. I don't think that it's, like, missing something by not having interpretations of the cards listed. So in terms of card stock, I don't really have much to say about the card stock. Like, I haven't had any problems with it. It's not phenomenal, but it's not bad either. It's not too papery. I can shuffle this just about any way that I want to. And yes, as you can see, the card backing is reversible. So if you did want to use reversals for this deck, I personally don't. But I could see that being used for something like a reverse card perhaps representing a blocked chakra or an overactive one, and upright being a more balanced energy. So if you're into reverse cards, you can make that work with this deck as well. So what is the best way to use this deck? Well, I can't say for sure, but I can tell you a bit about how I use this deck. So I use this deck all the time. I find it to be a really good card to add on if you're either maybe a little confused about what you're reading, like you want some more detail, but, you know, maybe you're working with a tarot deck that has these really, like, detailed pictures and all this symbolism and imagery, and you just want a bit of clarification, but you want something more simple and straightforward as a clarification card. These are great for this, right? You need a clarification card for where you're at your reading. You pull this, you got emotions, the sacral chakra, 6+2, numerology number 8. Very helpful. I've also used this as a sort of meditation guide at the end of readings, pulling out a card at the end of the reading and going, you know, if you just want to sort of sit with this card and sort of meditate on like the color and the meaning of, in this case, it would be psychic abilities. That's something that I like to suggest sometimes to just wrap things up really nicely. I often use this in combination with another deck that I've reviewed on here, the first one that I reviewed, and I'll grab that now. So this is the 101 Hearts cards. I find these pair really well together. If I feel like I don't want to do a whole reading where I'm like really working my intuition to interpret something, I just want to get messages clean and simple and move on with my day. Using these in combination together works really well together. So I'll grab one of these, one of these, another one of these. Normally do something like this. So let's see if I can zoom in here. So relationships and the physical body, gentleness is your strength. Well, bam, there you go. There's a whole reading, right? So using gentleness in your relationships, being gentle with your own body, that can be all that you need for a reading to start off your day. And these cards are also very inexpensive as well, and they come in multiple different languages, so if you're interested in seeing my review of the heart cards, give it a look. You can find that on my channel, or I'll leave a link in the description as well. So who is this deck for? I would say this deck is good for anyone who works with color, who works with chakras, or just anyone at all. Another great thing about this deck is that it is travel sized. If you see here, it's pretty small. I mean, my hands are small as well for reference, so I do take this traveling with me. And once again, it's cheap enough to replace, so I'm not worried about the box getting too banged up or anything like that. Another great way to use this deck is with black and white decks. So here I have these Yggdrasil Norse Divination Cards. Very cool black and white deck. In fact, part of the reason why I got a black and white deck was because I thought it would be cool to pair with my more color-based decks. So we have here this card, Skuld. And if we are to add this card on here, then we no longer have the issue that some readers may have with black and white decks of, oh, this is giving me trouble because I struggle to read without the use of color. So that's one good way to use this deck as well. And I would like to do a sample reading here, but I don't have much time. So it'll be a quick one. So here I'm going to use the Children of Litha Tarot deck. So this is a deck that I think pairs well with this one as well because it uses color quite nicely. So let's say we're just going to do like a past, present, future here. So we got like a past, present, future. And I'm going to make these upright for this example. See if I can get another zoom in. That's pretty good. So in the past, we have the Ten of Swords, so an ending, often accompanied by a feeling of defeat or closure. In this deck, it has a particularly gruesome and somber energy. In the present, we've got the Five of Wands, so conflict. We have new conflict coming into our lives. And at the end, for the future, we have Ace of Cups. So we're going to be finding new relationships coming into our lives, new emotional fulfillment. And we just add a card on here. So spiritual awareness. I would kind of put this over here between these two cards and say, you know, as we're moving into the future, you want to open up more of your spiritual awareness. So right now, you might not be super well attuned because you're worried about this conflict that's going on in your life, but in the future with the Ace of Cups, you're going to be using your spiritual energy a lot. So look forward to expanding your spiritual awareness as you move into the future. So that's just a way that you can add extra meaning with these cards here. So in summary, I do suggest this deck for pretty much anyone. It has served me very well. It has been sort of like my right-hand man throughout my time growing as a professional reader. So if you have this deck, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you think of it. If you yourself are interested in buying it. If you want to see more of my deck reviews, you can check out the rest on my channel. I also have my website, aethericsage.com, which is where I have information about myself and is also where my professional readings are booked. And you can check out my TikTok, also Aetheric Sage, for examples of some of my readings and some little advice videos about, you know, witchcraft and all that good stuff. Thank you so much for making it to the end of my video. It was a pleasure to make this. I look forward to making more. It is my goal to make a deck review for every deck that I own eventually, which right now is 26. So look forward to that. Subscribe if you want, or don't. that's all for this video. Have a blessed day.